Legends speak of a civilization unlike any other, where every citizen wielded magic as naturally as they drew breath. Towers touched the sky, spells illuminated every street, and their mastery over the arcane reshaped the world itself. This was Ancion, the Mageocracy that rose from the ashes of the Cataclysm and stood as a beacon of magic and ambition for millennia. But today, all that remains are ruins, a shadow of their former glory, crawling with horrors best left undisturbed. How did this mighty nation fall? What dark forces sealed their fate, and what secrets might still lie hidden in their cursed remnants? Grab your spellbooks, dear scholars, because today we're diving into the rise and fall of Ancion. The story of Ancion begins with one figure, a lone arch-wizard, a survivor of the Great Flood brought on by the binding of Arcana. From the mountain where he had watched the world end, he descended into the broken lands below, carrying with him fragments of magic that had survived the cataclysm. He was no ruler, but a teacher, a role model who believed magic could be regrown, refined, and shared. Around him gathered a group of survivors, learning to harness magic once again. In time, this group grew into a society where magic was not the privilege of the few, but a skill taught to all, like farming or smithing. And so the Mageocracy of Ancion was born, a civilization where every citizen, from the humblest farmer to the grandest Archmage, wielded magic in their daily lives. In Ancion, magic wasn't just a tool, it was a way of life. From enchanted tools to self-sustaining cities, their entire infrastructure pulsed with arcane energy. Every citizen learned the basics of spellcasting, and their collective innovation led to magical advancements unmatched by any other civilization. Cities thrived, connected by enchanted roads and magical communication. Massive spires housed their archmages, who acted as both leaders and pioneers of arcane knowledge. But with every success came ambition, and with ambition, a growing disregard for the natural order. Ancion's expansion brought them into conflict with the Dwarven Empire, particularly over a resource both sides coveted, Durunite, the sacred god metal. The dwarves viewed Duranite as a gift from their forge father, meant for holy purposes. But to Ancion, it was a means to amplify their spells, crafting artifacts and rituals of unparalleled power. The ensuing war was devastating. Ancion's magical constructs and spells clashed with the dwarves' war-forged armies, leading to stalemates and heavy losses on both sides. Though the Mageocracy never lost its territory, the war drained their resources and forced them to militarize, a decision that would embolden their next and perhaps greatest mistake. The closing of the wefts, ancient portals connecting Edegan to the Feywild, marked a turning point for Ancion. The Fey, fearing a prophecy of a half-Fey mortal who would one day destroy their courts, severed these connections. This act enraged the people of Ancion, especially the elves, whose ties to the Feywild were deeply personal. Entire families were split apart, and access to Arboreum's magical resources was lost. The Mageocracy, confident in their growing military and magical power, resolved to force the wefts open, a decision that would draw the wrath of the Shadow Fey. The Shadow Fey retaliated in the most devastating way possible. Through forbidden rituals, they summoned a splinter of void, releasing its corruption into the heart of Ancion. The first victims of this curse were the Council of Archmagi, whose immense power made them perfect vessels for void's influence. They became the first Darakhul, intelligent undead twisted by the call of void. As the Darakhul Plague spread, Ancion fell into chaos. Without the guidance of their archmages, the head of the Mageocracy was severed. The plague consumed the land, transforming its people into ghouls and leaving their once thriving cities desolate. Today, the lands of Ancion are known as the Cursed Wastes, a desolate region infested with Darakhul and corrupted by Void's lingering influence. Few dare to enter these ruins, and fewer still return. But for those brave enough to venture into the wastes, there are treasures to be found. Artifacts of the Mageocracy's golden age, enchanted tools, and even fragments of spells long thought lost. Yet, the greatest danger lies in what might still dwell there. The Darakhul Magisters, the first of their kind, whose power rivals that of the Archmages they once were. Ancion's story has become a myth, its name a whisper in the annals of history. Some remember them as pioneers of magic. Others see them as cautionary figures whose hubris led to their downfall. But one truth remains: their actions shaped Edegan forever, leaving behind both wonders and horrors. And perhaps somewhere in the shadowy corners of the Cursed Wastes, their legacy waits, silent, forgotten, and deadly. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the rise and fall of Ancion. Their story is one of ambition, innovation, and tragedy. A reminder of both the heights magic can reach and the depths it can drag us into. If you enjoyed this exploration, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know which part of Ancion's story intrigued you the most, or what other forgotten civilizations we should uncover next. Until next time, keep your lanterns bright, your spellbooks open, and your ambitions grounded. This is the Wednesday Wizard, signing off.